Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 6 of the Modern Gaming Podcast with Woody and Noble. Got some actually pretty interesting and hopefully fun topics to discuss tonight after some articles and things that popped up in the news and just kind of dive into. We'll announce our next guest. Hopefully, they'll be on next week after a conversation and things like that with them. But Woody, what you been up to these past couple days?
Oh, playing more ranked Valorant and played actually I had a pretty nostalgic stream today because I literally played solo squads in Fortnite for probably like a solid couple hours. And it was a blast, and I just sat there because that's literally what I used to do for hours on end, do solo squads and just vibe to music the entire time. So it was kind of nostalgic. But also one thing I like to say, anybody that listens to this, if you play Valorant and you want to play in some type of Valorant tournament, I'm holding one this month. If you want to, go to my Twitter at Woody55_. All the sign up links are on my pinned tweet. See if you want to sign up.
Yes,
So all skill levels are welcome. Doesn't matter who you are, how good, how bad. If you're
that's
fucking
true.
Shroud, good for it. Like,
Yeah.
that's cool.
If
If you
you're
know Shroud, you're friends with him, tell him.
Yeah, tell them to come. If you're hard stuck in iron too, like I am, it's fine. I'll be playing in the tournament. I will not be captaining a team, but I will be playing. And yeah, it's gonna be a good time.
Yeah, I'm working with people to get word out there and whatnot, and that'll be in a couple weeks. So how it works is teams will be chosen by a draft by captains. The draft will be on the 23rd. So just sign up before then, and then the event will be held on the 30th. So, yeah.
So it gives you 2 weeks from Saturday to get your team together, get a bunch of people in that you normally play with, and just kind of see who it shakes out, and probably end up playing against your friends. Which actually, that's the part I'm most excited about. The whole thing is that it's not you're bringing a squad; it's that it's literally all live draft, so you don't know who you're going to be teaming with, who you're going to be playing against. It's going to be a good opportunity for a lot of Valorant players that are looking to play tournaments just to meet a bunch of people and hopefully blossom relationships from there and find a whole bunch of new people to play and enjoy the game with. So I'm definitely looking forward to it. Hopefully it's the first of many, right? Hopefully the first one.
I would hope to hold one literally like every month if there was enough interest in it, for sure.
So definitely get to Woody's Twitter at Woody55_. Check out all the details, sign up, tell your friends, and make this first one really, really big. But to dive into the first topic today, I know that the Washington Post normally isn't a avenue for gaming information. I know I personally almost never go to a major newspaper to get my gaming information, but this article I came across today kind of struck me. It's interesting. Is 2020 is Mario's 35th birthday. Super Mario Brothers on the NES launched back in 1985. So what the Washington Post did is they took every Mario game and what they define a Mario game is, where he's like the feature character. So your Super Mario Brothers series, your new Super Mario Brothers, etc., etc. And they came up with 19 games and they rank them from worst to best. So I'm not going to go through the entire list. I'm going to start with the top 10, and this actually does include mobile. Super Mario Run was on here. I think it was actually the lowest rated game on the list. But the top 10 were Super Mario Sunshine on the GameCube was number 10, which I think was the first console release since Super Mario 64. Yeah, I'm actually
surprised that's that low.
It's one of the few that I've never played, and I had a GameCube,
Sunshine
and I
was really
loved
good.
my GameCube. I just
really
never played it. I didn't actually get into the game
Sunshine was a blast
until I started watching speedruns out, and I was like, man, I missed out on probably one of the flagship games for the GameCube. Plus, just some of the the whole jetpack idea and the water and everything like that. It was just something that was so different and unique. And the second true 3D experience that Mario had, kind of coming off the success of Super Mario 64. Number 9, they had New Super Mario Brothers U, which released in 2012 for the Wii U. And it was kind of like a multiplayer-esque
Yeah, I never played that
Mario
because I never
game
had a
to
Wii
where
U.
you could play it by yourself, but you could also do 4-player local co-op and run the game like that, and like all your friends could play every level with you. So it kind of made the game a little easier to where if one of you died, somebody else that was on screen could, as long as you like popped a bubble, you could save somebody and bring them back. But definitely not like a hardcore Mario title. It was something that's like more family friendly because that's where Nintendo was. But it was still enjoyable. Number 8 was the original Super Mario Maker in 2015, which I can honestly say I'm having a ton of fun with the second one. Never played the first one, but it literally, you can make anything that you can think of, like the trolliest of troll levels to remakes of classics and the whole 9 yards. And Super Mario Maker 2 has done everything above and beyond what the first game did and added a bunch of stuff. So if you don't have that game for the Switch, I highly recommend it. 7 was Super Mario Galaxy 2, which those are 2 games that I didn't play either the Galaxies either.
I think I like barely played 2. I played the first one. The first one was really good. Loved the
I've
first
heard
one.
the first one was like fantastic.
Yeah, first one was very, very good.
I've seen a lot of gameplay and things like that where literally, like, it's cool that everything within a level is discoverable. Like, you can literally jump on any little mini planet, and the cool thing is that they're all literally 360 degrees. Like, you can run upside down, you can like use the space environment to its full
That game
potential.
was super, super good.
And then just the motion controls. I think that's something that honestly the Wii
It was ahead of its time. It
struggled
was ahead of its
with
time.
for the most part, but I think that was one of the few games that they got it right, honestly.
Yeah.
Number 6, this is one of the few beefs that I have with this list, was Super Mario Odyssey. If
They
you
ranked it that low?
Yeah, if you have a Switch and you haven't played Super Mario Odyssey, you're literally
They put it at 6.
committing a disservice, because for like a single player open world Mario game like built to this scale, it's, in my opinion,
I would love to hear the top 5.
it's the best 3D Mario game since Super Mario 64, I think.
Yeah,
I had a ton of fun with it.
5.
There's a ton of replayability. If you're a completionist and you want to get every moon in the game, there's over 900 to find. So you definitely have hundreds of hours of enjoyment. I've actually thought about giving it a second or third playthrough because it's literally just have fun with it.
Before we get to the top 5, I kind of I want to guess. I want to guess the top 5 is.
Okay.
Not like I'm not gonna be able to guess the order
The
correctly,
order.
but I'm gonna guess the top. Just precursor question? Do they count the Smash Bros. Series?
They do not, no, because it's not a Super Mario title. It's
Oh,
not.
okay.
It's not like
I was
any
gonna say,
game that
Melee 100% of
Mario's appeared in.
okay.
It's literally like that he's the title character of the game.
Okay.
Yeah, and
let's see,
Woody
top
has
5.
not seen this list, so these guesses are legit.
Okay, so in the top 5, gotta be Super Mario 64 has gotta be in there.
Super Mario 64, I believe, is
that's
in
gotta
here.
be in there.
It's Super Mario 64 is third.
I would imagine Super Mario All Stars is probably in there.
That is
Although
not
that might
in
not
there.
be because it's a collection game of multiple Mario games, so maybe they just
Correct.
wouldn't count it. So let's say the original Super Mario Bros.
That's number
Has to be
5.
there. Super Mario World.
That's number 2.
Okay, this is a personal one for me. I don't know if they would actually put it in the top 5, but Super Paper Mario.
That is not. Neither Paper Mario.
Did it make it on the list though?
I'd have to go back and look. I actually don't know if it did.
That
3D Land.
That is such a joke, dude.
Yeah,
Super
neither
Paper Mario.
Neither paper. There's no Paper Mario entry on the list.
That was one of my favorite Mario games. It was so underrated. It was so good for the Wii. Okay, that makes me upset. Wow, that really makes me upset actually. Okay.
You're like hurt by that.
Yeah, I really am because no one I feel like no one played Super Paper Mario, and it was so good. It was so good. Um, did they count? No, they wouldn't count. Mario Party then
No,
if they don't count Super Smash Bros. Okay.
right.
Um, Super Mario World 3.
Super Mario Brothers 3 is fourth.
Oh yeah. That's what I meant. That's what I
So
meant.
you've got number 1 is the last one.
Number 1 is the last one. What the like?
And
How
it
is it
is a
not
game that we've
64?
talked about already.
Is it really?
Yep.
Shit, what games? This is my short-term memories kicking in. It sucks. Oh, Super Mario Galaxy.
Yeah. The original
Because
is number
yeah,
1.
yeah. Because we talked about 2. Okay.
Yeah, the original is number 5. The Washington Post listed as probably is history's most important video game, not even just for Nintendo or Mario, but literally video games, the entire industry. Lists it as that important.
Wait, so did they put 64 as 2?
They did, yeah.
64 is better than Galaxy.
And it's crazy to think that, like, I remember playing, a lot of games on the Super Nintendo as a kid, and thinking it took like days and months to beat these games, and now you watch a speedrunner play Super Mario Brothers and they beat the game in less than 5 minutes, and you're like,
Dude,
bro,
64 was so good. God, it was so good.
that was one of the
Like
first
how
games I
in-depth
got on
it
my
was.
N64.
Every all the levels, all the stars, the mission, like the modes and stuff like I don't know, everything of it for that time of a game, insane. Literally
Right.
insane.
And literally, like 90% of the game just takes place within the castle.
Yeah.
It's
It is wild.
it's a small area, but what they did, like you said, what they did and how big of a world they were able to build in 1996 was, and the game's held up remarkably well. And the article even goes on to say that they think that it's aged better than Ocarina of Time. I don't necessarily agree with that. I love the Mario franchise, don't get me wrong, but I think they both separately kind of cemented themselves in like a historic fashion, because what those two games did to make the transition for Nintendo especially to go from 2D to 3D, and then just what that did for gaming in general to open that space, I think was huge.
I'm still fucking upset about Paper Mario, dude.
Right. Yeah,
I'm telling you, if you guys listen to this, you gotta fucking play Super Paper Mario on the Wii. It was so good. It was so good, and I feel like it's like the least talked about Mario game ever.
Yeah.
It
Go get an
pisses me
emulator
off.
if you can't find a Wii.
Like seriously, get an emulator. Yes,
And run through
play
it.
that game. It was so good. Loved it.
I'm torn on Super Mario World being number 2, because it's one of my favorite games of all time. The SNES just had so many great games like that, like Super Mario World, A Link to the Past, Super Metroid. Just their flagship franchises like really got their start into like blowing up into like nationwide and worldwide popularity.
NES game, Tech Mobile, no cap. Freaking love Tech Mobile. That's just because the Bears were good at the time. They had Walter Payton. All you had to do was pick the Bears and win.
That's it. Yeah.
Good times.
And hold forward.
Good times.
The big thing
Sad
about
life as a Bears fan.
like Super Mario World was it introduced the Koopalings in a different level, to where like they were in Super Mario Brothers 3, but they all had their own castle. You had the fortresses, you had the ghost houses, you had hidden areas. Like Super Mario Brothers 3 had like secret paths and things like that, to where you could find the flute early on in the game and things like that. But Super Mario World had like entire had Soda Falls, had Star World, and then the secret world built off of Star World. I mean, you could probably get like all 96 exits in like an hour and a half, but you just have so much fun doing it. Like I could plug in my SNES Mini and sit down and play Super Mario World right now and have just as much fun as I did growing up playing it.
You have an SNES Mini?
I do, yeah.
I was thinking about getting that at some point, but
It I thought it was well worth it for the titles they had on it. And that was one of the reasons that I bought it, was because it's like, oh, Super Mario World, slam dunk. Like, that was one of the few reasons alone. Like I said, Super Mario Galaxy being number one, I can't necessarily agree or disagree because I've never personally played it.
It was really freaking good. I mean, I would still put 64 above it, but it was really, yeah, it definitely deserves to be up there. It was really fucking good.
Yeah.
For
I mean,
sure.
the thing that I was impressed about just with the article in general is you can tell that it's, at least to me, it appears that somebody who's
Played
either
like
done an
everyone.
incredible amount of research or that they've played every single game. Because it just gives so much detail, and it wasn't like
They have not played fucking Super Paper War.
That's
Paper
true.
Mario.
Yeah.
Okay, they clearly have not played that one because Jesus Christ.
Yeah. So Woody will be leaving a comment on the Washington Post, like, really, Super Paper Mario?
Fire this man.
Like all the Paper Marios and things like that. But that's their list. The Washington Post had Super Mario Galaxy is number one. You guys can comment in the chat, comment on the VOD to list your favorite Mario game or your favorite memory. And we'll be interested to kind of read those and continue the conversation. The next thing that has kind of swept over Twitter, and I know there's a huge movement with the hashtag free Zenon, is in Fortnite. So there's been a lot of positivity coming out of Fortnite over the last week, been, increased communication. They've removed skill-based matchmaking in squads. They had the live concert. They had the Travis Scott concert. They had all this
We have
different
another one tomorrow, actually.
stuff, coming into the game, and then this happens. So for those of you that aren't familiar with the story, and Woody can allude and confirm to like the competitive side of the game, but in order to compete on a competitive or professional level in terms of earning money from Fortnite, you have to be 13 years old.
Yeah.
So
So,
go ahead.
I'm just very confused. I'm very confused on the whole point because, like, from what I understand, he was only banned from competitive. No, correct me if I'm wrong.
That's what I initially thought when I read today. It sounds like his entire account has been banned for until he's 13, so he can't use his primary account at all anymore.
Well, okay. So Ninja made a tweet. He was like, he should only be banned from competitive, which is true. So yeah, that's why I thought he was only banned for competitive. If his full account was banned, then yeah, like he should just be banned from competitive. That's it.
Right, cash cups, because I mean they're pretty strict on the whole, like, you need parental consent to compete, and his dad was literally in the room.
I think it's a legal thing though too.
It is, yeah, paid. in terms of the money aspect of it.
Yeah, because I think like you have to be 13 because I think it's a W-2 form for the Fortnite earnings, and I think you have to be a minimum age of 13 to fill out a W-2. Pretty sure. I could be wrong on that.
Now, see,
but I think that's why.
This is where I think that this could potentially be a pivotal decision from Epic, and then just like a turning point in gaming in general. And here's why.
Well, okay. Do you know who Face High Sky is?
Yeah.
Which he's been like 13 for like 3 years.
Yeah.
Because they were like he just turned 13 like a month ago, and we're just like, oh wait, yeah, he's been 13 for like 3 years. But like I don't think he was ever banned. He was banned from Twitch because he was streaming and he wasn't 13.
Yeah.
But I mean, like that. The thing is, like, we all know there are kids that are younger than 13 playing these cash cups. There are 100%, and there are people probably making money that are lying and getting the money. But like when a kid streams, then obviously
that's the hard part.
Banned from competitive though. He shouldn't be banned from like the entire game. I mean, either way, he's just gonna make another fucking account, but or maybe not because he streams.
Yeah. That's the thing. Like, if there's, I think you and I both agree that if there's no money involved, he should be able to play those modes. He should be able to play casual pubs.
Yeah, he can play pubs. And,
limited time events, even arena, where there's just the points involved, but there's no cash.
Arena's weird. Arena's weird because like there is no cash involved, but like you have to play arena to be able to play in the events to get cash. So it's like it's just depends on how far back on that train you want to go. If you want to count like arena as competitive, but like it really isn't, but like it technically is. So it's weird. But still though, I don't think he should be banned from arena though.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna make, and it might even be an unpopular opinion, I'm gonna make an argument that anybody under the age of 13 should be able to compete even for cash, because like you see it on game shows, you see it on America's Got Talent, you see it on American Idol, you see like all these young kids that just blow up into stardom through social media. Like Ellen DeGeneres has a bunch of young kids on her show that are like 5, 6, 7 years old that have these, YouTube videos that have millions upon millions of, views and everything like that. Epic could, like, instead of issuing the tax form, there's a way to set it up to where the money just gets put into a trust to where the kid can't touch it. So like in this case, Zenon wouldn't be able to touch the money until he's 18, and his parents hold the money. It sits in an account. They manage it. They do whatever. They'd be responsible for all of the earnings and taxes and things like that, since he can't touch the money until he's 18. But Epic is missing out on a huge amount of positive PR, because like, let's say that this kid in Brazil, what if he qualified for the World Cup? Just in theory.
Well, if
at 9 years old.
If he qualified for the World Cup, he wouldn't be able to go. That's the problem.
Because Epic's preventing him. But how many people would tune in to the 2021 World Cup if there was news that a 9-year-old was competing in solos and was one of the top 100 best players in the world?
Oh, a lot of people would watch.
That's my point. Like,
you're just saying they should change the rule.
Yes. Because it's a win-win for everybody.
I don't think they can legally change the rule. I think that's why Twitch has the 13-year-old rule too. I think it's like, to pay them, they have to be 13 legally.
There has to be a way around it, because there have been kids that have been.
I know, you said, yeah, like
that have won,
like X Factor and stuff like that.
Yeah, like there was a ventriloquist, a young girl. I think her name's like Darcy
exactly
Little.
Who you're talking about? Yeah,
she was like 11 years old and won $1 million. Like, you can't tell me that, oh, you're not 13, you don't get the money. Like, they're just gonna put the money into like, there's a way around it. It just depends on. It's just never happened in this spectrum before. Like, Zenon could have never streamed and never put himself out there, and nobody would have ever known.
Oh no, yeah.
So he's almost getting.
There's got to be some type of legal thing though, because there are a lot of platforms that have the 13 requirement. So like, there's got to be a reason why that's.
Oh, I'm sure there is, and I haven't. Anything that I've done, I haven't come across anything concrete that's like, okay, here's the reason. Like, here's the legality behind it. Right. But I think that in an age where gamers are getting younger, they obviously have a ton of people under the age of 13 playing their game. That they need to at least look into the idea of allowing this, or if they can't do cash, then
some type of just
like create a 13 and under division within the game.
Yeah.
I mean, now of course, you're gonna have your Smurfs and everything that just create accounts like, oh yeah, I'm 12 years old, parental consent, and then you get 12. Like people from FaZe just go in and dominate the event. But something like that, to where even if the World Cup did that, like, don't let them compete for cash, but you have a 13 and under qualifier online, and you showcase that during the World Cup.
Oh, people would play it. Not only would people play in that, but they would also like pay to go.
Yeah, just to like highlight the future stars of your game. Yeah, like here's your 11 and 12-year-old division. Here's your 9 and 10-year-old division, and just put them up on the big stage, same setup, same everything, and just let them play. just because the experience alone would be enough for them. And, I mean, the last World Cup was held in Arthur Ashe Stadium for God's sake. So something like that. But don't ban the poor kid. I hope he gets freed. I hope that they, unlock his account and find some go between and just, I just think it sends the wrong message. And now you're going to have other kids that are under 13 be like, well, I'm not going to put my face out there. I'm just going to play and, play in the cash cups and get the money, and nobody's ever going to know.
Well, the other thing though too is like he's under 13, so he should also be banned from streaming.
He should be. And was
Technically.
he streaming on Twitch? Like, I don't even know.
Yeah, I mean that's where the clip came from and everything.
Because I don't know if they have like how far Twitch's thing goes to where if it's, because it seemed like the parental consent was an aspect in this. I don't know if it was from Epic or from Twitch or whatever, but
No, well, it's supposed to be it's supposed to be you have to be 13 with parental consent. That like you have to be 13.
Okay.
And then you get parental consent until I think until you're 16 is when you can stream
on your own.
Whatever. Yeah, I think that's when you can technically do it on your own. But 13, like it's 13 to 16 with parental consent.
Okay.
Anything below that you can't. That was the problem with High Sky.
Yeah, I mean when you just don't.
So it's like not only should he be banned from Fortnite, but also banned from streaming
from Twitch. Yeah. Unless it's
unless
everybody.
He was, and I just don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, or everybody already knows how inconsistent Twitch appears to be with their own TOS, so maybe they just don't. Maybe they, leave his account active and let him stream and just take the free press from it.
Yeah, just show it.
Because I mean, anybody who would flame, anybody who would flame Twitch for letting a 9-year-old stream, like they're gonna get flamed themselves. Like who cares?
Yeah.
Who is this kid hurting to stream? It doesn't.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter. Let the poor kid play Fortnite. Epic, please. Make him happy. Let him play your game. And end this hashtag stuff on Twitter.
Yeah, seriously, get off my timeline, please.
Yeah, please. Like every fourth post, free Zenon. Just do it for the love of God.
Get off my timeline, please.
The other article that I came across today, from the Loadout, explains in depth how the Valorant ranking system works. I've read a lot of tweets, and I know all the people that we play with have had the same conversations, and we ran into issues in just kind of trying to answer some floating questions out there in terms of how it's all going to work. So when the game launches, everybody basically resets at 0. All your hidden MMR is gone, etc., etc. So when the beta came out right before they were getting ready to launch comp, it was never made public that you need to take your unrated games seriously, because Valorant weighs that you win, how much you win by, individual performance, how you use your abilities to make an impact on the match, etc., etc. None of that was made public. It was like, boom, here's comp, and everybody's like, oh, I'm destroying, I'm going to get placed in diamond. And then you get placed in like bronze, and you're like, what the hell, Valorant? Like, I'm popping off every single game. There's no way I'm a bronze player. So some tips and advice and things that are starting to become more public now. When the game launches, you have to play 20 games in unranked before you can unlock competitive. Those 20 games, according to the article, and Riot actually put this in the game to where it explains, in shorter detail, kind of what matters. The article says winning games is the most important factor, but at the beginning, when you play your placements, your personal performance is the biggest factor. However, unlike other competitive games, Valorant's ranking system also takes into account how decisively you win or lose. So you could go like 16-4, but your average win is like 13-11. You might not see a significant increase in where you think you should be, as opposed to if you go like 13 or 14 wins, but all those wins are blowouts and your losses are close and you play well. So there are layers to this system to where um, I'm sure that better players will be placed lower um, for a variety of factors. Either that, you're top fragging every single game, but your teammates aren't that good, so you're only winning by small margins, or you're even losing games. And that could potentially hurt your overall rank. Um, the studio takes this opinion because it says they trust that you and your teammates have earned your way to your rank. So they fully believe that the system they've implemented works, and eventually sorts itself out.
So yeah, so like Peter, when I was talking to Peter about it in my chat, like he kind of said the same thing where, yeah, if you get placed low now, like you'll eventually earn your right rank, and it is what it is. And like I kind of agree with it to a certain extent. Like I think the main issue the main issue that I have right now is that solo queue is fucked. Literally, like queuing solo is terrible. And it's mainly because for some like one, it's important to point out that like the entire game is on a flex queue. Okay, so like you could be a solo queue and queue into a game where the team that you're playing against is a 5 stack. Okay, usually like in other competitive games, like Overwatch, if you queue as a 6 stack, you're gonna get another 6 stack playing against or something like that. Usually that's because it has different ladders. Right now, Valorant is one single ladder, so
right. Now, this
you could
article
be a,
actually goes against that because it says that it'll match players based on their pre-made party size. So if you're a stack of 4, you'll run into a stack of 4. Or
that's not
3, you'll
how
run into a
that's
stack of
not
3.
what I read on articles yesterday from Riot. That's not what Riot Dev said. Now
Okay.
so that's how they said it's going to be.
Okay, so it might
Though
not be
when it
that
was
way
released.
now.
No, during the beta, this is how like it's a flex queue right now,
Okay,
which
so
makes
then
sense though
maybe
because it's a
in the
beta.
live game it won't be.
Right? No, yeah, they said in the live game it's not going to be that way, which is like totally fine, right? Like that's how it should be. Um, but right now that's how it is. So like I'm just saying I'm speaking from right now at this point, right? Which I like, and plus it's beta, right? So it's going to have issues. It's supposed to have issues, and we're supposed to voice those issues, or else there wouldn't be a point to a beta. Okay,
Right.
like we're supposed to complain. So, um, like I say, solo queue is fucked because mainly I'll queue as a solo, like I'll queue solo as gold. Okay, and my problem is I'll solo queue as gold and get iron teammates, mainly because the iron teammates will be queuing with like a silver or a bronze teammate that I end up getting into a game with because they can actually queue with them. But if I try to bring an iron player into my lobby, one of my friends that's iron, I can't queue with them. It doesn't allow me to. So why the fuck am I getting an iron teammate in my game? Period.
Yeah, because
Because like if I want an iron teammate, I'm gonna bring one of my friends with, not give me a random fucking person that's queuing with a silver that I got to a game with. Like I
right.
should just have no irons in my game. Period. Even though that's literally how it is right now, and it's so weird. Like
Yeah, because this article, and that was the other part of it that I read, that says that you can queue within 6 tiers of somebody. So, and the number
right,
system works out really well to where like if you're 2, you can go 2 tiers above you, and 2 would be the most that you could
right. So
team up
if
with.
you're an
So
iron one, the max that you can queue with is a silver one, right?
yes, correct.
So like I'll be gold one, so I'm gold one. I'll queue into a game. I'll have a teammate that's say silver 2, and the person that he's queuing with is an iron 2, and he'll be in my game. But if I try to queue with an iron 2, it ain't gonna let me because I'm gold.
Right. Like you and
Which
I
is
couldn't
stupid.
play together.
Exactly. Which is stupid. If I want an iron 2 teammate, I'm gonna bring one of my friends that I know is gonna listen to comms, etc. You know,
Hmm.
like that's a part that's very frustrating and it's kind of annoying. The matchmaking system is weird. But then again, it's beta. It's a flex queue.
Yeah.
Everyone's in the same ladder, so it's weird. But
Yeah, and I mean when you put it that way, I mean I guess to a certain extent, Overwatch could
the
do
reason for that is
this,
the flex queue system, though, because like, well, like you know, if you solo queue in Overwatch, okay, if you
which
solo
I
queue in
do a
Overwatch,
lot.
right, you're gonna get like every single person is gonna be your rank, every single person in that game, unless you're like usually the only situation you're gonna have multiple ranks in a game is if like you're in that 200 SR range where you flip ranks. So let's say for example you're a gold, but you're at like 2450 SR, you might get a few plats in your game.
Yep.
Or flip side, if you're plat and you're 2550, you might get a few golds in your game. But if you're like 2700 and you
It's
queue
all
up
plat
solo,
all the
you're
time.
all plat. You're 100% plat. You're getting all plat teammates. You're finishing with all
Maybe
plats.
like you might like one out of every 20 games get a gold or a diamond that somebody's stacking with.
Right. And even then, you're gonna have one on your team. So it's like even if you play a plat person that's queuing you up with a diamond, you'll probably get a diamond that's with you.
Mhm.
Or at least someone that's a higher platinum rank to even out that SR, right? So like, but
Yeah,
that's
because like the team
that's how
averages are
I
very, very close.
right. And so I think like when Valorant actually drops, that's how the system's gonna be. But at the moment during beta, they have the flex queue system so that everyone can just play. So that games are just going all the time. So that queue times aren't insane, right? I think that's why they're doing it. And once the game drops, it'll actually work how it's supposed to. At least I would hope. But
Yeah.
you
I mean, I would, because I don't know that, because I mean,
know.
like if I took the 6 tier system and like applied that to what, like to Overwatch, like 6 tiers is skipping 2 ranks. So like like in Overwatch terms, like if I was like Platinum 2 in Valorant and I could play against an Immortal 2, like that's basically me being like mid diamond playing against a mid GM. And that
Right.
skill gap is huge. And the higher you
Right.
go, the bigger that gap becomes. Like, you go down to like where I'm at, like Iron 2 into Silver 2, I might, you know, I should probably be able to play, with the bronzes and things like that. Maybe silvers might be a little bit, but there's still opportunity the
This is
lower you
my
go to
opinion
climb.
in terms of Valorant ranks. Um, Iron's tough because the people that don't give a shit are thrown into Iron with you, right? So the people that just kind of play rank for shits and giggles and they just get a rank, they're thrown into Iron with you.
Yep.
But what I would say, Iron, like what separates bronze from Iron most of the time is just raw skill. I feel like bronze and Iron most of the time, in terms of game sense, they're about the same damn thing. Just bronze people may have a little bit better game skill. Silver, you start to get better game sense, not as good mechanically as gold and plat players though. Plat players, good game sense, just simply not as mechanically good as diamond players. And then above diamond is when you get you're just fucking gods. Like I
Yeah,
would
you're
say
getting
diamond
your
people, like diamond will probably be the toughest rank in plat. I mean, in Valorant because I feel like diamond's gonna be that platinum rank compared to Overwatch because
I think
like
diamond
it's
really
hot.
the only way that you're going to be able to separate yourself skill wise is to like be good at one tapping with a vandal,
Yeah, because
being
like
able to like
I feel like
counter
in
strafe
diamond
tap.
you're gonna get full of people that are like trying to grind. They're gonna be tense as hell because they want to get immortal, right? And they think they should be immortal. In it, like it's just gonna be. I feel like that's gonna be the toxic rank. I feel like in the future and in beta at the moment, I think that's just gonna be the toxic as shit rank.
Yeah, and I heard Courage say something about that today during a stream. He's like Valorant is already kind of proving itself to be one of those just purely toxic games in terms of like the lobbies and
Oh, it
um
is, dude! I swear to God,
the chat. Like I
Valorant,
haven't seen this much body
Valorant
smacking since
randoms,
I'd played Halo 3
bro,
professionally. Like it's crazy.
Valorant randoms are fucking nuts. Also, I have not heard this many Buzz Lightyear jokes in like all my time gaming, dude. I swear to God, I've played so much Fortnite. I've played so much COD. I've played so much Overwatch, so many other competitive games, and I've never heard so much fucking Buzz Lightyear jokes in my entire life. Like, I will join into a lobby on my own team, and in 1 second, I already got someone on my team like talking shit to me or something, like making jokes, and I'm just like, bruh, like we haven't even played yet. I haven't even locked in my agent yet, and
Right.
you're already saying shit.
And that's another
Like,
thing
it's nuts. And we're
that I
like, we're teammates. Like,
right.
like what?
That's
You
another
trying to
thing that I
start shit on your
think
own
that
team before we lock agents? It's wild to me. Wild.
and it just continues and it's not like a quick game either. Like you're stuck there for like
Right.
30
You're
to
stuck
40
for fucking
minutes
25 rounds. You know, like that's a long time.
listening to it. First, like to improve the solo queue experience, like that's something that I think needs to be adapted or changed, is that you need to be able to change agents in the selection screen. Like if somebody auto locks
Yeah.
on Raze or Sage or something, and somebody comes in and be like, hey, that's the only agent I know how to play, can I have them?
Yeah.
Like not
Yeah.
being able to
Yeah.
swap, like if you have
So
that person that only plays one or two people, because that's how they want to play the
I
game.
had a situation like that. I had a ranked game yesterday where my three mains, which were Sova, Viper, Sage, and usually Sage I just have to play because if we don't have one, I need a player. And those three people were locked up in the first like second, and I was like, well, fuck.
Yeah.
So I played a Raze, but like they were locked up in the first second, and I was like, well, this has like never happened before. I was like, interesting. But like I couldn't like say, I'm sure they had a backup or something that they, play a lot or whatever. I don't know. And I could have been like, hey, could I get Viper or something? And I'm sure that maybe the guy would have been like, oh yeah, sure, man, I'll play Breach. But you can't do that, you
Right.
know? I think what they should do is they should make it to where you can change characters up until the end of the buy phase. Although, like, not the end of the buy phase, because that is a disadvantage to the defending team. Well, it's a disadvantage to both teams because they could just change characters right at the end, and I don't know. It would just be weird. But I feel like the main reason they have the lock-in system is because you don't want to just like hold a character from somebody to be an ass. They want to prevent people from doing that. But it's like, I don't know. I feel like they really need to fix that, because I don't know. I've had plenty of times where like we won't get a Sage because someone will lock in a certain character, and then like at the end we're all like, fuck, we need a Sage, and then we're like, well, we can't get one, so we're just kind of screwed. So I don't know how they would change it to make it right, and to make it, because Overwatch you can change at any time. Now I'm not
Yeah.
saying at all that Valorant should be that way, because it shouldn't. Um, I don't know. Maybe they should make it to where maybe they should make it like Apex. Actually, I think they should make it like Apex. Do you know how Apex does it?
Yeah, to where like you pick an order.
Yeah, so it's like everyone queues in a random order, and then everyone picks their agents in a line. And like, if the third person, like, you can see what everyone's hovering over too. If you queue in Apex and you're the first person, you see like the third person hovering over fucking like, any of them, like Wraith or something, and then you'd be like, okay, you can have Wraith, and I don't pick her. You can do that.
Yep.
I think that's actually what they should do.
Yeah, or they could just keep the lock screen locked for the lock-in button for like 15 to 20 seconds to at least give an opportunity for a conversation or something, to be like, hey, who's everybody going to play?
Yeah, you can see like if anyone's double,
Yeah,
something like that. Yeah.
I can play these people or things like that. Now, of course, you're still going to have there's no perfect system, right? Because you're still going to have that troll that doesn't care about the game. Like, oh, I'm just going to pick this person. But I think in general, just some tweak to where you can have a conversation and legitimately be able to make those decisions and try to set yourself up so that everybody doesn't auto lock their first one, like you said, and like, oh well, we have no healer, no sage, so
Yep, you're just screwed.
just anything to, because I mean, when you play with a squad, it's easy, right? Like if you're a squad of 3 or a squad of 4, you know, you've got most of your friends there, so you really just have to kind of drag the random in. Or, you know, you could just be that person that always has a 5 stack and never have to worry about it. But it definitely seems like in this game, because they're not, like, because you don't have the ability to change right now, like, you have to, your your agent pool has to be, like,
It's huge. It's gotta be huge.
at least 4 deep.
Like, yeah.
Maybe even 5. Like, maybe you have to be able to play half of the agents in the game.
I mean, that's how Shroud is. Like, dude, I swear to God, you turn on Shroud's stream, you'll probably see him play a different character every time. He plays anybody.
Because, I mean, it's not like the gun skill changes. I mean, everybody fires exactly the same. Right. It's just literally the abilities. It's not like, you know, Overwatch, you switch from, you know, you go from like an Ashe to a Genji to, and it just completely changes everything. Right. Their movement speed and everything, all that's the same. You just have to learn their abilities, basically, and the best way to use them. So, you know, I'm a fan in general of matching the queues. That's something I'm familiar with even from like the Halo days. Halo 3 used to do it really well in MLG, where like if you had 250s, they would match you up with 250s. If you were, the only thing I didn't like about it is that they would short the game to where, like, if you were trying to play 4s but you were a team of 3, more often than not you get 3v3, and I don't think Valorant will ever, I don't think you'll ever run into a game where it's like, oh, we can only give you 4v4, because I think it just changes the dynamic of the game. To take a person out. I would also like to see a new map dropped in the beta, just to, because I think a lot of people are just kind of getting kind of growing stale of the 3 that are there. Even just one more, you know, I think would help kind of freshen things up a little bit, because I don't see them dropping any more agents in the beta. I don't.
No, I don't think they will. No,
I don't think they'll drop any other weapons or abilities or anything like that. They might make tweaks for the launch of the game, but it needs, I think, just a little spark to get it the rest of the way. Competitive certainly did that, and now that we're getting more information about the MMR and how all that works, so just to recap really quick, guys, when you, or if you even haven't played the beta yet, because people are still getting beta keys, your first 20 games, like, literally, I personally, like, I might solo queue because I might be forced to. But if you have friends to play those games with, play with friends, because the win margin being so much on top of winning the game and playing well, you need to treat every game like it's a comp game. Basically, there is no unranked.
I'm just saying, man, if you're, okay, listen, if you've been watching Twitch streams, okay, if you've been watching Twitch streams since the beta dropped a month ago, and you still don't have access to the beta, and you're still waiting for a key, holy shit.
Yeah. I literally saw like 2 or 3 tweets with pictures today saying that they got
a lottery ticket, because your luck is like, it's about to, like, if you haven't gotten that lucky in a long time, like, you're due, go buy a lottery ticket. That'll be better worth your luck, okay?
Than getting a Valorant key.
Good Lord.
But yeah, I mean, just, I think that's something that, you know, we've all talked about is, you know, you have to sweat every game.
No, you have to. And it's like, that's like, I'm okay with that system. I understand why it's a thing. I get it. I just wish I would have known.
Right. They needed to be more transparent with it from the beginning.
Right. And now I know when the game drops, but like, I would like to known, period.
I would also like to see some sort of bar. Like if it's if
yeah,
it's a
you got, dude. That's actually another thing I didn't mention yet. Like, you give me a fucking number, dude. Give me a number.
right, I need to
Give me
know
any
how much
indication of when
like
I'm gonna rank up. That's
the
very annoying.
the 13-12 increases me versus like a 13-8. So if I'm like
Like, it'll show the arrows, and I'm like, that's cool and all, but like for me personally, I've been hard stuck at goal 1 for like 3 days, and it's like I won 4 games in a row, and I still haven't ranked up, and then I'll lose one, D rank, win one, and I'll rank up again. And
mhm,
then win like 2, 3, still won't rank up, lose one, it'll bring back. And it's like over and over. And I'm just like, give me a number, dude. Give me an idea of when I'm gonna
yep,
rank up, when I'm not, like when I'm gonna rank down. Like, give me something. Every other game ever has had that. Like, give me a number.
yeah,
Apparently
I need to
CSGO has apparently the same ranking system where you don't really know when you're gonna rank up, which you can say that all you want, but that just means CSGO is even more shit than it already is. Um,
plus the
but
game's like 16 years old.
yeah, like that just means CS:GO's rank system is also trash. That's all that tells
Yeah,
me.
I need
So,
to know that going like if I'm 12 points from getting into gold or getting into plat or whatever, and I know ahead of time like, all right boys, I have to win this game 13-8 or better.
yeah,
Like if I have a rough idea of how I need to play, it of course is going to impact how I play that game.
right. Maybe that's why they don't. Maybe that's why they don't do that, because then you'd have people being like, "All right, guys, we gotta win 13-5." So then they would be aggressive as shit or something. I don't know. And maybe that's why they don't do it. I don't know, but I would like to know.
Yeah, I
Give me an
would too.
explanation. All you gotta do is give me an explanation. Be like, "Hey, this is why we have it." I'd be like, "Okay, cool beans."
Yeah,
Like,
and you
just
could probably at them on Twitter, and somebody might honestly respond because
that's
they've
true.
been very good
Yeah,
about
yeah,
their communication. Be like, just like
yeah,
at play Valorant. Why can't I see how close I am to ranking up?
yeah.
Unless you're going to tell me like the more arrows I see, the closer I am. Like great, but or the more that I'm gaining, like I need to see it because like it would drive me nuts in Overwatch if they just told me I was diamond
Right. And
and I
you're
had
just like,
no number.
yeah, and you had no idea how close you were to master.
And I'm just blindly playing, hoping like after a win, be like, oh, there it is.
Yeah. It's crazy. And it's like, it's crazy, but that's how it is, literally.
Like, even tell me that it's a margin thing. Like, in order to rank up, I have to like my margin has to be like plus 30 in rounds.
Yeah.
Like,
Just
because
something. Literally anything to go off of. Anything to go off of. Just like literally anything. And I don't know. It's annoying. It's annoying. But I mean, I think it'll change though. I don't think this is how it's gonna be when the game drops. So that's what I'm gonna believe. That's what I'm gonna continue to believe.
yeah, and I mean this article makes other mentions to where like if you're inactive for 14 days, it'll hide your rank until you've played your first game back, but your rank they won't take rank away from you if you're away for longer than 2 weeks. And just just a
What
couple
decay?
other,
Like decay?
yeah, like they
Yeah.
won't take, they won't drop you from like Immortal 2 to Immortal 1 if you don't play for a month. They'll just let you sit. And that could be something that changes. If you're in Valorant, maybe that's the one that'll have decay. I don't know how League of
Yeah.
Legends does it. But, if there's only so many people that can hold a rank, then I think there should be decay. If you're not, if you're in Valorant, you're not playing games for a
Wait,
week.
doesn't decay start in Overwatch at Diamond?
It used to. I think now it starts at Masters.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think
Okay.
before they did
I know it used to start at Diamond.
the 222, I think once you were in Diamond, if you didn't play for like 4 or 5 days, I think you slowly started to lose SR.
Yeah, I knew that's how, because it used to be that way on console.
Yeah, but now I
Best
think it's
dog
just
out so far.
masters and above. But yeah, overall, I can have fun, kind of, with the game. It's just so different from. It just doesn't suit my play style as a gamer. Like I've never enjoyed Search and Destroy, um, Rainbow Six Siege, Counter Strike, any type of like patient corner peek tactical shooters. Just never been my style of game. I just don't have the patience to sit there. Like I literally in Iron 2, I go in and I'm entry fragging every round. And sometimes it works. And I've had games where I've had 30 plus kills and gotten MVP, and I've had other games where I'm negative 15 and can't get a kill. So it just is what it is. And that's the way that I found that I can have fun, I guess, with the game. Is I just to sweat it and be like, oh, we have to win. Like maybe if I ever, get up to like silver, maybe I'd start to sweat. But there are plenty of iron people out in the sea that I can play with, hopefully. So, but for next week's episode, we are hoping, after we discuss and chat with him, see if he's available, hopefully at a Wyoming Gaming on Twitter will be our next guest on the podcast, whether that's for episode 7 or a future episode, and we'll get him in on the conversation and get his opinions and thoughts. And sometimes you never know what you're going to get from Wyoming. You will probably definitely hear the maniacal Joker laugh at least once. So you'll want to clip that and hide the kids, because it's definitely something. He's also known for yelling at people when he plays and saying that this is his house. Doesn't matter what game he's playing. They're all his house when he pops off and gets a big play. So we'll talk to him about it. Hopefully he'll be able to join us and we'll have a good time with it sometime in the not too distant future. So I am probably going to end up doing my Overwatch placements tonight before I go out of town for a week to finalize the sale of the house. And then come back and see you guys here in a week for episode 7. I feel like it's like a Star Wars trilogy. Like we just keep climbing episodes and getting further and further along. But
it's kind of wild, actually.
And hopefully, if our YouTube channel will let us stream it and get all that figured out. YouTube, please stop blocking us. Hopefully we'll be live streaming them from YouTube, uploading right away, and bringing some other changes and things that Woody and I have been discussing to the podcast and the channel in general. So if you haven't checked out any of the podcasts previously, please do so. Smash the subscribe button, like the videos, comment on the videos. I know that I check comments every day, respond to all of them. So let us know your favorite Mario game, opinions on the Valorant ranks, hashtag free Zenon if that's what you're still into on Twitter. And yeah, we will look forward to seeing you guys back next Thursday for another episode.
Absolutely.